Hey, what's up, everybody? So today I'm gonna, well, last time we set up this MDRE character in Unity. I set him up in Unity and got some animation from Mixamo baked onto the rig in Maya, and went through the export process to get a few initial animations in of, we'll play it. So we got the initial idle cycle in from Maya. And today I just want to go through the bringing in a Mixamo character directly into Unity and attaching that to the Drake rig to get an initial move set going. Let me just Alright, so anyway, on Mixamo, I downloaded the Action Adventure Pack and put it on Ybot. So it basically gave me a zip file with all of these animations or all of these FBX files, and they're not set up at all. I just extracted it into my Unity directory. So one of the files that it has is Ybot, and that's just the T-pose without any animation on it. So this is going to be the avatar that we're going to base all the other animations on. So like yesterday, I'm going to click on Ybot and adjust these humanoid properties. Create from this model. And now I want to configure all of the joints here. And it's already, set up pretty well. It's all named properly. Where it generally finds everything you're looking for. Let's look at the head. We do have a left eye and right eye here, so we'll throw those in. Left hand. Index, middle, ring. Okay, so it seems like everything's pretty much set up. So we'll just apply. Click done. Let's name this animation as T-pose. And now we want to apply that avatar to all of the other animation files. So we could select them all. You can't do this for every animation property, but this is useful to change the animation type and avatar definition on a bunch of files. Let's copy it from other avatar, Ybot, apply. Okay. so now that we got Ybot configured, we could look through these animations. So there's running. Alright, so we already have an idle, so let's get the run in here. Loop. And now we're going to have to fiddle with some of the settings to get the root motion working properly. So root transform rotation. Let's go with original. And now we could see how the root motion is moving. So it's basically we only want it to move forward. Okay. So now we got it just moving forward and not rotating around. And let's try that out. Okay. So ideally, I guess we'll just drag this in and it'll work. We'll see if that happens. Well, let's group all of these. Whoops. Okay, so now we go into our parameters and start putting a few in so we could start getting our trees working, our blend states. So I'm putting X and Y because that's going to be a direct input from the controller. And we'll create this as a blend tree and just call it run. And for now, we'll just have it as one parameter. Let's do Y. And add our motion fields. So we want it to be idle when there is no input, and then we'll have run forward when it's 1. We could adjust these manually. Okay. So now we'll see how that blend looks. Okay, it's blending, not the best. We're going to need a lot of other states going in between, so we'll need a slower walk and then maybe into a jog and then a run. But for now, this will work. So right now, there's nothing that's really going out of these idle states. They're only going between each other. So we need to exit them. So we want this transition to take priority, and the condition is if y is greater than 0.1, let's say. Well, let's do 0.2. Now we could look at how that transition's going to go. Perfect, because it's just transitioning into into the idle. Let's try that. Okay. And we don't want to have an exit time. We want this to exit as soon as it can. Well, as soon as the controller is down, basically. And we'll do that for all of them. We want to just run, so it always takes priority there. Okay. And we want to get out and back to idle. Okay, so now let's take a look. Okay. That idle blend was pretty abrupt, so let's see what we could do about that. So let's take a look at it again. Let's see. Oh, it's a little abrupt, but we'll deal with that later. So now let's give him some input so that he'll start running when you press the up button. We'll add a script called character motor. And we want to get the animator component. Serialize the field so that it's accessible in the editor. Let's see if we're getting that. Let's go into the input settings. Yeah, so we have horizontal and vertical. And now we'll get Y. Let's actually just put this into a vector. And we're gonna bring that, put that stick input into the X parameter on the animator. Okay, now we'll see how that works. So we'll just drag the animator down here. And we'll play. And now you can see that the X, I'm pressing A and D, the A and D keys, and that's hooked up to the horizontal parameter, and now the vertical. See, I got my initial run. Okay, so now let's see if we can get the side strafing in. And actually, before that, let's get a camera. Let's get the camera snapping to the character. So we'll create an empty transform here at where the character is. And we'll call this camera constraint, and we'll parent the main camera to it. And we're gonna create a new component, and now we're gonna actually write a constraint for it. We'll call it a point constraint. And we'll have our target. If you're familiar with Maya constraints, then it's basically the same thing, but now we have to just make it work in code. So we have our target parameter, and just the simplest version of this is transform.position is equal to target.position. And we'll make sure that we actually have a target. If we want something like, if we want an additional parameter, something that Maya has is the maintain offset. So we'll just do that really quick. And now we'll have a so now if we want to change the point constraint, we're gonna the point constraint target, we're just gonna have to call the set target function, and it'll do all of the maintain offset math for us. So we need to store that somewhere. So we'll store it into the offset. And to create a maintain offset, to pre-calculate that, we'll put the set target right at the start. Offset equals okay. And then we'll just add our offset. Okay, so let's see if that works. We'll need an offset here. Oh, we don't have a target. So here's our target, and we'll maintain. Well, let's see how it is without well, let's see. We'll make this maintain offset live, because right now it doesn't care about it. Okay. So now if we press play, it should follow him. We'll see. Oh, it snapped to the reverse of the offset, so the math is wrong. Let's switch these two. Okay, so now that's maintaining offset. If I uncheck it, let's uncheck maintain offset. No, actually, yeah, I know what's wrong. I'm still adding the offset here instead of using the wanted position. Okay, that should do it. So here it's maintaining offset. If I uncheck it, it snaps directly to the transform. Okay. And if I check it again, it'll snap back to that offset. So let's uncheck maintain offset. Set this to 0. And let's get the camera rotating around the character. So let's add a component and just make a generic or a general camera controller. We'll call it camera motor. And we want the same functionality as the point constraint, so we'll just copy all of this code anyway. But the point constraint is always going to be useful, so we'll keep it around too. We don't really need the maintain offset, and that's going to be a specialized camera controller, so it doesn't have to be very general. Okay. So now we'll get the rotation axis, or we want to be able to rotate it around Y, so we'll use horizontal for that. I think we can do vector 3 up times stick input y or x, and then we'll have a variable here for rotate speed. We'll say 30 is the default. And then we want to multiply it by time dot delta time, as that's going to be the delta time between the last frame. So it's going to basically rotate 30 degrees per second according to how much the stick input is. So if it's like all the way to 1, it'll rotate 30 degrees per second around the y-axis. Let's remove this point constraint and assign Drake. Okay. So now I'm able to rotate the camera and run forward. It's a little slow, so let's double that. Okay, that's better. $120. All right, let's get him running back as well. Let's see if we have that here. Really? No run back? Alright, well, we got the Mixamo stuff here, so let's try to find a run back. Okay. This'll do. Alright, copied it into my folder, and let's get the Ybot in here. Okay. And we're going to go into our blend tree and add a -1 value. And give it the run back. So now when we play, we have our rotation, camera rotation, and run forward. Let's see what's going on here. Oh. Should be running back. What do we do wrong? Nope, that's not a good transition. We're gonna have to okay, yeah, that's correct. We want forward to be the body facing forward, so we want that root motion root to be facing forward as well. And now we'll play this. Okay. Now we'll see how it goes. Alright, got forward, and still no back. Oh, that's right. because basically it's only looking at y is less than 2, so it's actually going back into idle before or as it's for any value less than 0.2, which would include obviously -1. That's fun. So we're going to need to do another parameter here called input magnitude. And we're going to change this. So if input magnitude is less than 0.2, then it goes back to idle. And we'll change all of these so that input magnitude, when input magnitude is greater than 0.2, it'll go into the movement blend tree. And now we have to hook in input magnitude in our character motor. Yeah. So now we got run forward and run back. Okay, so I think that's a good start for today. I think next time we'll start doing two-dimensional movement and put in the strafes, the initial strafes, and add some, and we'll split out the camera to another stick or mouse move, and we'll add another axis to the camera rotation, so you could basically orbit around him and move the camera up and down as well. But for now, we'll leave it here. Alright, thanks for watching.